So more essential molecules to our bodies are proteins. Proteins are what we call macromolecules because they're really, really big. They're made up of tons and tons of tiny little things all strung together that make a giant big molecule. So proteins, we can call them polyamides or polypeptides. These are polymers. These are made up from amino acids, all right? So the amino acids link up in a specific order. Once they link up in a specific order, then the protein starts to fold around itself until it gets to its final active form, and then the protein is important in your body. So every living cell needs proteins. You have proteins in your hair, your skin, your muscles. They transport oxygen, nutrients, minerals, etc., all through your body. Your hormones are proteins. The enzymes that are involved in all the reactions inside your body, proteins. Okay. So our amino acids. So there's if you think about the name here, amino and acid. So amino, there's an amine group, so an NH2 group on one end, and then an acid group on the other. It's that carboxylic acid. So we looked at carboxylic acids just a little bit ago. Remember, carboxylic acid has this general form, that's COOH. So there's some other part in between here. All right, so you get a carboxylic acid group on one side, an amine group on the other side, all right, and then some sort of side chain that is in there. I drew an X, usually we write an R. Right, so here's some amino acids, okay, and so you can see here, there's your amino group. Okay, these are showing the deprotonated forms on the carboxylic acid side. So this side is showing an NH3 plus and then a COO minus on the other side. All right, and so we have all sorts of amino acids. Okay. This chart, I like this one because it classifies them into multiple different subcategories. And then if it has a dotted line around it, these are essential amino acids. And so you have to get those from your food. The other ones can be synthesized by your body. So we synthesize a lot of these inside our own bodies, but the ones with the dotted lines, we have to get those from what we eat. Okay? Right? Those side chains, some of them are polar, some of them are non-polar. All right, non-polar groups, these are what we call hydrophobic. They don't like water. So water is small and highly polar. A non-polar side chain, they don't mix well. So we have this like dissolves like. So if we have two things that have similar forces, they'll interact with each other. But if they have very different forces, they don't like to interact with each other. Okay, so our non-polar ones are going to associate with each other instead of with water. Our polar groups, we can get dipole-dipole forces, or we can get hydrogen bonding. We can get some ionic forces as well. Okay, so the similar things will interact with each other. Again, those essential amino acids are ones that we can't synthesize ourselves in our own bodies. We have to eat them. And so we've got histidine, lysine, threonine, isoleucine, methionine, tryptophan, leucine, and phenylalanine. Oh, and valine. Okay, so there's a list of them there. So you have to make sure that the food that you eat is got a varied enough different types of nutrients and stuff that you're also getting these amino acids that we can't make inside of our own bodies that we need in order for our bodies to make the proteins that we need. Okay. And so here are those essential amino acids. I just shrink it down to kind of fit on here with the video, but if you have the slides downloaded, these are much easier to read, and you can see like arginine we get from different poultry sources, from some squashes, from some nuts, histidine, meats, poultry, dairy, vegetables, etc. So you can see different places where we get these various essential amino acids that, again, we have to take in from our diet. So if you like chocolate, you get plenty of tryptophan. If you like cheese, you're getting good amounts of tyrosine and valine. But you can't just focus on one type of food. You have to eat a very varied diet in order to get all the different things that you need. When amino acids do link up and bond, what the bond that they make is what's called a peptide bond. So when they bond, we end up losing a hydrogen from the NH2 group and an OH from the carboxylic acid. So very similar to what happens when our sugars link up and we expel a water. And so we get this whole peptide chain, and so we get all these amino acids. Now they lose a little bit, so they're not full-on amino acids anymore, so we call them residues at that point in time. So make sure that you're eating a good, varied diet so that you are able to ingest all of your essential amino acids.